Alright, today we're going to be talking a little bit about Turnip Boy commits tax evasion and Turnip Boy robs a bank. You see, I recently played through the entirety of the Turnip Boy series because I find the games to be kind of funny, kind of ridiculous, and kind of like being on an acid trip. And we'll get into the differences between them and why I think they are pretty fucking cool and why I personally really like them. So, let's just get right into it. So, to begin with, what is Turnip Boy? Well, Turnip Boy is a game series where you play as Turnip Boy, a boy who's also a turnip, in a world that has been ravaged by nuclear warfare, where plants have grown intelligence and a conscience. Well, not really a conscience, but at least an intelligence. And you see, you play as Turnip Boy, who is an eldritch horror in that universe, who with this power of his vocals when he speaks, can banish people to hell. Now, if what I just said sounds a little bit like I'm tripping on something, you're not entirely wrong, because that is only revealed in the second game where he also robs a bank. In the first game, you are committing tax evasion. You see, you commit tax evasion because of Mayor Onion, the titular evil onion person of Veggie who, well, essentially wants to become the owner of the world and have everybody pay their taxes. And Turnip Boy can't have that. So he sets out on a quest of relatability and honestly kind of funny writing. Now, you see, the reality is, Turnip Boy is one of those games that are meant to be funny. It's meant to, make you laugh, make you smile. And it does that really well through references. And I think that's one of its really biggest strong suits, especially the first game. In the first game where you're committing tax evasion, you're going up against people like the IRS, and of course some JoJo references here and there. And there's plenty of other just random ass references. They have updated the game throughout its lifespan until the second game came out or they started working on it. And honestly, Turnip Boy commits tax evasion, the first game, is fairly good. It follows a linear structure, it has some puzzle elements reminding me a lot of the older Zelda games, and if you played Hunt of the Night, then Hunt of the Night, where you go to these areas, you get some new gear that can unlock new areas and so on. It's kind of just one of those games. There's no upgrades, there's no real big progression or whatever. You're just kind of solving a couple of fairly easy puzzles and then you finish the game. It has boss fights and whatnot, specifically against apple kitties, which essentially is a rotten apple that's also a cat. It's strange, but it makes sense within the universe because these fruits are mutated and whatnot. And the same thing goes against quite a few other things, right? Like there's a mutated deer, and the scariest boss in Turnip Boy commits tax evasion by far is a mutated human child, which is probably the darkest the game gets when the child describes how their parents, went to the upper world and came back and wasn't the same, and went deeper into the bunk as their parents went insane. That's it's actually fairly dark at that point. It goes places, and I think that's honestly not bad. The writing when it comes to that makes it a tonal shift where it isn't just funny, and I think that's kind of fucking cool. And in general, the game controls like any of those old games. But now to, talk about the newer one, the Turnip Boy robs a bank. And I have a lot of things to say on it, so let's just get into it. Turnip Boy robs a bank is a game where you again play as the titular Turnip Boy, who this time wants to rob a bank. You see, after you've defeated Onion, where he turned himself into a god, you also kind of destroy Veggieville and most of the known world. So there's been a war that lasted for 2 days, everything is scarce, everything is ravaged, and now you need, to get some money. So when the Pickle gang rolls up, and it is actual pickles, rolls up to you and, hits you up with a job, a big heist, your dad, turnipchino, wouldn't have said no to it, then you can't say no, you can't refuse. So you go in and you start working your way through the bank. Now this time it isn't a linear game, it's a roguelike, which fits it a lot better in my opinion. The roguelike elements really add to the game in the sense that the writing is still there, which I was scared when I heard that it was rolled. I was sad that the writer would like go down, or it wouldn't be there because you wouldn't have time to stop up and talk with characters. But this time you're actually doing quests for different characters that unlock new weapons and new skins, and well, not new skins, but new hats. And you're doing all of these like random quests within the bank. You're on a timer until the police, starts to arrive, where they give you different stars, the wanted level from GTA, practically. So they like get you a higher wanted rating as you are staying in the bank for longer. When it reaches the last one, he will be like, no progress, and he'll spread in, I think it's poisonous gas inside of the bank, and that will like, kill you if you don't make it out fast enough. So it's about getting out before you start getting those wanted levels, which is fairly doable. Because in, Turnip Boy Robs a Bank, you have a map of the bank and you have some fairly good locations. You can run like around and whatever. There's like this veggieville inspired area where it's all in a forest inside of the bank in like one of the upper corners of it. And you have another one which is a haunted mansion and so on. Like they're all very distinct from each other. The first one is just a bank, and then the game just goes fucking bananas. It goes off its rails. You can also go to hell, where you can find the old grandma that you find in the first game, who you kill by talking to her, telling her to stop. Specifically, if you're wondering to stop with what, it is because that lady was the ooh, cattle lady. And it's literally written as such, like she will be like purring and everything like that in the first game. So Turnip Boy, in an act of defiance and in a crazy, wild thing, first time he ever talks, just tells her to stop. Which, in my opinion, actually did make me laugh out loud, but that's a different story. You see, the thing is, in terms of the game's lore, you are an eldritch horror, so you sent her straight to fucking hell. She just died. You killed her, the old cat lady, and now she runs an arena with all her purry kitties in hell. And it's honestly quite funny, because the game does play much more smoother than the first game, and it's much more fast-paced. So you go into this arena, you're dodging bullets, you're shooting left, right, and center, and then you can get some random hell weapons. Now that can just range from your, regular old flamethrower to what I consider the greatest weapon in the game, being a kitty that you pick up by its feet, an apple kitty specifically. You take it up and you use it as a flamethrower, and you just go, right, and it just spreads fire everywhere to all the enemies, and it's kind of fucking cute. I really do like it. And I think it's one of the better parts of the game, honestly. The writing is still there, and it's there more so than ever. As an example, in the Haunted Mansion, there's a guy that's dressed up as Dracula, and he wants to get a lady. He wants to get some good old onion Uzi, right? Like, he wants to get there. And to do that, you help him by hooking him up with the old lady that has taken over hell with her cat, the cat lady. And he is very self-conscious, so he's like, oh yeah, just tell her that I'm 6 feet tall. Tell her that, I lift this as me, and then he gives you a Photoshop picture of himself and stuff like that. It's that type of humor. The type of thing that tries to become relatable, and it honestly does succeed in it quite a bit. Now, again, there are boss fights, and these boss fights range from really good to really good to really bad. And here's the thing, when I say really bad, that's honestly an exaggeration, it's just smartly okay. The first 4 boss fights are fairly good, in my opinion. They rely a lot on the combat mechanics, on you dodging some bullets, or there being some random shit on your screen to confuse you because, haha, funny wall break. Specifically, it's soap videos that are playing, where a guy just touches soap. It's the last soap videos on the planet. And here's the thing, right? It's not that bad. It's fine. And it doesn't fuck up the flow of the fight, which is the more important thing here, right? And then there is a boss which is a candy apple, and there is a boss which is a bunch of fries, which the funny thing is here they have these introductory cards, in a game like Borderlands, I think was the first game I saw do it, but they have these introductory cards, and as an example, the fries is literally just written in American. They have the little stars and like blue background and everything like that on the like name of it. And I think it manages to be funny, you know, it really does. And the boss fights themselves aren't bad. They're fairly standard, just, you know, don't get hit by the bullets and run around. They aren't hard, they aren't meant to be hard in my opinion. However, the final boss fight does kind of kick things up when you launch the bank into space and get invaded by aliens. I'm not gonna say more than that about it, other than I think it is honestly the lowest point in the game. Partially because within the rest of the game, to even get to that point and fight the boss, you have to kill all 4 other bosses. Then you can go in and fight the boss, and you have to do it every time you die. And honestly, the fight itself isn't that fun, because you don't exactly fight him, you just run past him and try to touch some buttons. You have to run to each of the boss arenas, which you've just been in, this time avoiding the boss's attacks, and the arena has changed slightly to just, you know, press a button and continue to the next one. It can feel a fair bit unforgiving because often there's so much going on in the screen that I at least couldn't follow my character, and I think that's not just a me thing. But other than that, I honestly think the final boss is kind of fun. I do enjoy it. I do think especially the music is popping, but the music is popping throughout the entirety of Turnip Boy Robs a Bank. And now to talk about a little bit more about, you know, the themes and stuff like that. So when you're talking about themes in a game like Turnip Boy, right, like what are you even on? Like what is there here? And I honestly can't tell. I think the closest thing I can come to something that might be cohesive is, you know, just have fun with it. Like the world has ended, just the vibe, have a good time, laugh, you know. Because Turnip Boy just fuck doesn't give a fuck. He just dodges and dances and goes around bullets and becomes a lovable little turnip. And here's the thing. The developers have been good to update the games, and I think that's great. I do expect Turnip Boy Robs a Bank to also get updates pre-release, because at least Turnip Boy Commits Taxation did, including a roguelike mode, which actually was quite a bit of a surprise because it does kind of play like the, you know, Robs a Bank does. And in Robs a Bank, there's, as I said, a lot of references and stuff like that. There's Deep Web Market, and there's all of these things, and it's sort of supposed to be like Turnip Boy that delves into crime. I do personally really enjoy it, and I think it's a pretty good game. I don't think I could recommend them for anybody if you aren't into like roguelikes or you aren't into like the kind of relatable writing. I know to a lot of my friends, they seem super cringy because my friends don't like that type of game, they don't like that type of writing. And it is a major selling point of the game. It's the fact that they are funny. They are supposed to be funny. And when it doesn't do that, when it doesn't do, you know, the funny thing, it's just kind of especially the first game, is just kind of a mediocre action game. And the later game, Turnip Boy Robs a Bank, the latter game, it's actually really good regardless. Because Turnip Boy Robs a Bank does play a lot more smoothly, in my opinion, than Turnip Boy Commits Taxation. But that could just be me. In any case, I really like both of them. I think they're both worth playing if you like that kind of humor, if you are into games trying to be funny. Especially if you can get them on a sale, it's a steal, honestly. It's a good game, they are quite short, both of them, but they are both really good and really worth playing. With that being said, I want to thank you for watching. I don't have much more to, you know, talk about other than just saying that I think they're great, I think they're awesome. However, I would like to say this. A couple of weeks ago, last video I posted was on Dark Souls 1, and it's become fairly popular on the channel. I really do appreciate all the support you guys have shown on that. And I have started to work on a video on Dark Souls 2. Because, you know, I intend to go through the entirety of the FromSoft catalog because I find them to be really good games. So, you know, that will be out, maybe not as the next video, but the video after that, I think. That's like my aim at the moment. In any case, have a wonderful Monday. At least it's Monday for me, it might also be for you. Have a wonderful time. I hope I see you all in the next upload. And I am out.